Our film today begins with two children, Bablu and Manu, sitting together, each telling the other about his dream. Then they see a plane passing above them, so they run after it, feeling happy, until they enter a large excavation site and go down to the river to play for a while. But suddenly, Manu disappears and doesn't show up on the water again. 3 days pass, and then his body appears floating on the water again, and his family is shocked by what happened. Someone records a video and shares it because this is not the first time a child has died this way. Last year, 15 people died under mysterious circumstances. At that moment, Softy arrives, the one whose company is responsible for the excavation at that site, and he is surprised at how the body came back to the shore. One of his men tells him that the drilling machine accidentally brought it up from underground. He finds Manu's family protesting at the site and blocking all vehicles from moving, so he decides to return to Prince, the gang leader. We see him and learn that he is a spoiled brat playing in an amusement park owned by his sister, because his sister is actually the real boss, running everything through her assistant along with Softy, since she is currently in prison, and they are the ones managing the operations. But Prince doesn't care at all. It's his birthday, and he must celebrate, until Softy comes to him and tells him there will be no celebration because there was a disaster at the site, and the families are still protesting there, talking to news channels and demanding justice and an investigation into the children who die every year. They accuse Softy of digging too deep into the river, making the excavations underwater, which pull in anyone who tries to enter the river. He arrives with Prince to handle the situation and continue the work, but Bablu refuses to move and lies on the ground. At that moment, Prince shoots him in cold blood, then goes to the group that was supposed to celebrate his birthday and starts dancing and singing with them among Manu's grieving family, not caring about anyone. On the other side, we see Arjun and his daughter Shama, who decide to move to the city because Arjun's wife died 3 months ago, and he decided to leave his hometown and return to the city. But it seems his relationship with his daughter is a bit tense. Anyway, he goes to a bank where his wife had opened an account and submits a request to close it since she has been dead for 3 months. The employee gives him a form to fill out, and he tells him that he has already filled out this form 3 times before. The employee replies that nothing works properly here. Can't you see what things are like around you? After that, he goes to meet an old friend named Prabhakar to help him find a job since he has decided to settle here. His friend tells him that only Softy can hire him since he is a retired officer and can work as a bodyguard with them and earn good money. But the most important thing is not to lose his temper or interfere in things that don't concern him. He takes him to meet Softy and introduces him as a former major who can also drive, so Softy agrees to hire him at the same moment Prince arrived. Prince notices Arjun's car and says, "Whose nice car is this? I want it." But Arjun refuses to give it to him because it is the last memory of his wife. Luckily, Didi calls Prince, so he leaves. On the other hand, Shama is at her college and goes to a student named Rana, who always sends her inappropriate videos. She records him and tells him she will expose him everywhere, continuing to challenge him. Meanwhile, Arjun prepares for his first day of work as a driver. He gets into the car, and Prince sits beside him, mocking him and his driving, even spraying him with a spray. He tells him to stop the car so he can show him how to drive, and even makes him open the door for him. Then he starts driving recklessly while continuing to mock him. This makes Arjun very angry, and he remembers his past as a police officer and thinks about killing him or smashing his head into the dashboard, but he backs off and does nothing. Later, they arrive at the prison with a lawyer to talk to his sister Didi. She tells them that no one should kill Manu's mother or her daughter because it would cause them many problems. But the lawyer says there is a bigger issue. They had stated in the report that the weapon used in a previous killing was missing, but unfortunately, Prince used it again to kill someone, which means the case will now implicate both of them. She gets angry at her brother Prince because he is irresponsible. After they finish and leave, they learn that Arjun wasn't feeling well and went home. We see him there watching the news where Manu's mother is speaking about the injustice she is facing. He feels disturbed because he is working for the same people who are oppressing her. It is also clear that his relationship with his daughter is still tense, as she stays in her room and doesn't talk to him. She also watches the video she recorded of Rana and considers posting it to expose him. The next day, Arjun goes to the bank again to close his wife's account, but Prince passes by and starts bothering him, saying, "This is my place. I will park here. Go find somewhere else." Arjun refuses, so Prince gets out, takes his papers, and mocks him about visiting his wife's account. Talking about his wife makes Arjun furious, and he thinks about hitting him, but he controls himself again and does nothing. He takes his papers back, refuses to move his car, challenges him, and leaves. When he goes upstairs, he finds the same daily problem, a girl and her mother trying to enter the office and threatening to burn themselves. At that moment, he goes to the employee with the form filled out, but the employee spills tea on it and tells him to come back tomorrow. Arjun loses his patience and wants to beat him, but he controls himself again again and leaves. However, he finds his car completely wrecked. The glass is broken and someone has vandalized it. At this point, he decides not to hold back anymore because this is the last thing left of his wife's memory. He goes to Prince's men and beats them all brutally, showing incredible strength and defeating them all. Prince, furious, comes out from the barber and goes to threaten Arjun, who overpowers him, drags him to the car, and forces him to clean it with his own clothes in front of everyone, while people record him after being humiliated. After finishing, Prince promises to get revenge. Arjun gives him his address and tells him to do whatever he can if he's able, then leaves him lying on the ground. At the same time, Rana brings acid to the college and throws it at Shama's face, but luckily it turns out to be just water. He warns her that if she tries to publish the video, next time it will be real acid. Her friend Rajan wants to intervene, but she stops him, saying this is her battle. At the same time, Softy arrives at the restaurant where Prince is sitting, upset about what happened. He notices an old man staring at him, gets angry, and brutally beats him in front of his daughter. He then reaches for his gun, but can't find it. On the other side, Arjun is cleaning his car and notices a strange gun inside. It turns out to be Prince's gun. Then Prabhakar comes to him and warns him not to make enemies of these people. Arjun replies, I spent 25 years of my life in the army, and most of that time I was away from my family. I bought this car for my wife because it was her dream. So if anyone touches it, I will end his life. Prabhakar understands the situation and leaves. At night, Arjun sits with his daughter, eating, when her phone rings, but she doesn't answer. It's Rana calling her. Her father asks if everything is okay, and she reassures him, then asks him the same. He says everything is fine, despite the wounds on his hand. Each of them has their own problems, but neither tells the other. After a while, Arjun hears noise outside, so he goes out to check and finds motorcycles, with Rana and his friends trying to harass Shama by calling her name. He quickly runs to make sure she is in her room, and she is very scared of them. He goes down and closes the door to avoid causing trouble. The next morning, she goes out to get the newspaper, but someone throws a bottle at her. She gets scared and runs inside screaming, thinking it might be acid as Rana had threatened. Her father goes out to check and finds Prince and his men throwing bottles at the house. Because of what happened and the fear his daughter experienced, he decides to burn his work uniform and refuses to work with them anymore. Meanwhile, his daughter decides to overcome her fear. She gets dressed and decides to take revenge on Rana. She goes to his house and tells his mother that she is going to publish an important video of her son that will make him famous, then leaves. Rana follows her to stop her, but she is no longer afraid and is determined to expose him. On the other side, Didi is in prison and watches a video of her brother being beaten and also learns that his gun is missing. She tells Softy that he must act, get revenge for her brother, and most importantly, retrieve her gun, as it is an inheritance from their father. Softy tells her to make sure her brother stays out of his way because he always causes problems. They begin arguing, and Didi knocks milk onto the floor and forces Softy to clean it, reminding him that he works for them. Then she goes to scold her brother, telling him that the gun is more valuable than him personally and must be retrieved. On the other side, our hero goes to the police station to file a report against Prince, but the officer is too afraid to even register the complaint and cannot help. When he leaves, Prabhakar reminds him again that he cannot go against these people and walks away. Arjun goes to his car but finds Prince's vehicle surrounding it from all sides. He asks one of them to move so he can leave, but they refuse. Then Prince arrives and says, I want my gun. Arjun responds, go file a report. I don't know where your gun is. At that moment, Prince orders his men to destroy Arjun's car, which is the most valuable thing in his life because it belonged to his wife. Arjun controls himself until they leave, then takes another car and chases them. He catches one of Prince's assistants and beats him brutally, smashing his car. He also finds the bank employee who kept delaying him, takes his key, and when the man calls out to him, he says, come take it tomorrow, just like the employee used to tell him. After that, he calls his daughter to check on her, but she doesn't answer because she had already shown the video to the principal along with Rana and his friend. The principal scolds them and orders each of them to bring their parents while asking her to delete the video to protect the college's reputation, which upsets. As she leaves, Rajan holds her hand and offers to walk her home. She pushes him away and says, are you my bodyguard? All of this is seen by her father, who misunderstands the situation and thinks Rajan is harassing her. He rushes toward him and starts beating him violently until the police arrive and arrest him, while people record everything. His daughter sees the video of her father brutally beating her friend and goes to the police station, arguing with him and saying, the one you beat is my friend. You broke him completely. She keeps crying while he has no response, as he thought the boy was harassing her. On the other side, Prince and his men go to Arjun's house while he is not there and turn it upside down looking for the gun, but still find nothing. The next morning, the officer releases Arjun since Rajan's family did not file a complaint. He goes to take his car and visits Rajan in the hospital. Rajan tells him, your daughter told me you're short-tempered quick-tempered, but I didn't know it was to this extent. Arjun apologizes and leaves. He returns home and is shocked to find it completely destroyed. Even the last meal his wife had prepared, which he had kept in a clay pot, is broken. He looks around the house where he lived with his wife, unable to believe what has happened. Then his daughter sees him and is very upset, blaming him for everything that happened. She decides to return to the village to live there. He had bought her a gift and runs after her because it was her birthday. She tells him, "Of course Uncle Prabhakar told you my size. You don't even know anything about me." She blames him for always being distant, and he feels hurt because she is right. She leaves him and walks away. He watches people at the bus station, each one hugging and saying goodbye to their daughters, something he never did. At that moment, he decides to change everything. He calls Prabhakar to take him to Prince. They go together to talk and reconcile, to forget what happened. But of course, Prince is too arrogant. Softy calls Didi to show her what happened to her brother and asks about the gun. He tells her that her brother went there and took it, but he can't find it where it was left. She tells him to see what her brother wants and resolve things with him, then hangs up because she wants to sleep. At that moment, Prince takes advantage of the situation and tries to provoke Arjun, who gets fed up and thinks about leaving, but someone blocks the door. With one powerful strike, he smashes the door with his head. Softy and Prince raise their weapon, but Prabhakar restrains them, allowing our hero to grab a chair and start laying down his conditions after tying them up along with all their men. He then goes to the place where they are holding the poor woman, Manu's mother, and her daughter, and frees them. Outside, he finds many guards and engages in a very intense fight, taking them down one by one until he eliminates them all. In the end, he takes Manu's mother with him in his car, deciding to protect her. Didi learns about this and becomes very angry. At that moment, Prince starts beating Softy, blaming him for everything and saying that he is the reason all of this happened, that he was the one who brought Arjun here in the first place to reconcile with him. He beats him in a humiliating way in front of his men, and Softy is shocked that someone like Prince would treat him like this. On the other side, Prabhakar is sitting with our hero and asks him why his relationship with his daughter is so strained. Arjun replies that on the day his wife died, he wasn't with them. He then starts telling him the story his daughter doesn't know. One day, he was on a very dangerous mission, and his daughter kept calling him, but he couldn't answer. When he finally checked his phone, he found a message from her telling him that her mother had been in a serious accident and asking him to call because she was scared. At that exact moment, he came under fire from terrorists and his phone was knocked away. From her perspective, she thought her father had seen the message but chose not to respond. Even when she kept calling, he didn't answer. She didn't know he was fighting for his life. He kept battling for a long time until his phone died, while she believed he didn't care about them. Since then, she has grown distant from him. The next day, he decides to fix things between them and explain everything. He calls her, but she doesn't answer, even though she passes right by him. Despite that, he waits for her at the bus stop. When she gets off and sees him, she feels emotional and starts walking toward him to talk. But before she reaches him, a car suddenly arrives and kidnaps her. Our hero is shocked and assumes they are Prince's men. He jumps into his car and chases them at full speed, but it turns out to be Rana and his gang who kidnapped her because she exposed them. Arjun continues chasing them to save his daughter until another car crashes into him. It's Prince and his men. They capture him and take him to another place to find out where the gun is. Meanwhile, Rana and his gang take his daughter to another location, lock her in a room, and start discussing what to do to punish her. Rana suggests assaulting her and recording it so they can blackmail her if she ever speaks out. They begin filming while trying to attack her, but she fights back with all her strength and no one is able to overpower her. At the same time, her father is being tortured by Prince, who wants to know where Manu's mother is and where the gun is. Arjun refuses to say anything and demands to know where Shama is. Prince is confused because he doesn't even know who she is. Meanwhile, Shama fights back fiercely. She knocks one of them down and starts attacking the other. Rana manages to bring her down and beats her brutally, but she grabs a knife, injures him, and quickly escapes. She reaches the car they kidnapped her in, takes out a gun from her bag, and it turns out to be Prince's gun, the same one they kidnapped her father for. She then overpowers them, forces them to strip, and makes them run in the street as a lesson. At the same time, Softy goes to Didi and yells at her, telling her he is not the same Softy anymore, and if they try to stand in his way, he will eliminate them. She is shocked because he has broken free from their control. Meanwhile, Prince takes Arjun's phone, sends a picture of him to Prabhakar, and calls him to find out where Manu's mother and her daughter are. But Prabhakar doesn't respond because Arjun had warned him not to reveal their location, even if he died. Then Shama calls her father, but Prince answers the phone and tells her that her father had an accident and she needs to come see him. She tells him her location and he sends a car to bring her. She arrives and sees her father hanging and she starts crying. Prince takes her bag and finds his gun, the one he had been searching. At that moment, Prabhakar senses something is wrong and calls Arjun, but Prince answers and threatens to kill his his friend and his daughter, which reveals their location. Then we see Arjun regain consciousness with his daughter beside him. She tells him that her mother loves them and that they will see her soon, as if they are about to die. Prince manages to capture Prabhakar along with Manu's mother and throws them into a pit to finish them off. Arjun asks his friend how much time is left, and he tells him 10 minutes. We realize Arjun has a plan and must stop what's happening. He begins moving to distract Prince, who says, "Are you trying to escape?" His daughter grabs Prince's leg and Prabhakar snatches the gun from him. Enraged, Prince kills Prabhakar, which shocks Arjun deeply, but he continues with the plan, moving further away to stall him until backup comes. Prince chases him, manages to catch him, and they engage in a fight. Arjun tries to waste as much time as possible, but in the end, Prince shoots him in the leg and drags him back to where his men are. He humiliates him and points a gun at him, but suddenly backup arrives, shooting down Prince's guards. They reveal themselves as retired officers, warning that anyone who makes a move will be killed. Arjun takes the gun, subdues Prince, and the rest of the men are also overpowered. It turns out they are not just one. Many retired officers have come to support their friend. Prince's men get scared and call Softy, but she has already eliminated Didi with the help of her own sister, who poisoned her food. He orders the men to leave Prince and walk away, and they abandon him alone with Arjun and his team. Arjun then frees Manu's mother and lets her take revenge on Prince. They bury his body in the sand and run over it with a car as justice for Manu and every child who died because of Prince and his sister. However, Softy has not forgotten what Arjun did to him, and in the end, he attacks him with a Molotov cocktail, setting up a sequel to continue the story. And with that, the film ends here. You'll now see 2 videos on your screen. Choose whichever you like. Hopefully you enjoy it, and if you're thinking of supporting me, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That's it. See you in the next film. Goodbye.